Cold has a way of humbling even the strongest armies, and during World War II it became an enemy many commanders underestimated. Frostbite tore through units faster than artillery. Whole nights vanished to shivering misery. And yet, tucked deep inside old field manuals, there was a quiet invention that let soldiers sleep through temperatures that should have broken them. Viewers of the forgotten war fronts will want to hear this one to the end. And if you're new here, you'll probably end up subscribing just to see what other secrets history tried to bury. Soldiers expected bullets and blasts. They didn't expect a cold so sharp it felt alive. Campaigns famous for their violence often had an invisible killer working overtime. The bitter woods of northern Europe, the windswept highlands of the Balkans, and frozen riverbeds across the east turned nightfall into a test of endurance. Early sleeping bags weren't the answer. They leaked heat, absorbed moisture, and collapsed under a soldier's weight. Every shift of the body let warmth escape. Every breath added dampness that robbed insulation. Cold didn't care about strategy. It wanted flesh, bone, and willpower. And for too many soldiers, it got exactly that. Among the endless lists of wartime equipment, one object stood out for being almost too simple. A long insulated tube, open at both ends, with no fancy fasteners and no complicated folding pattern. No one thought it would be legendary. But the men who used it didn't need legend. They needed sleep. Real sleep. Warm sleep. The idea was straightforward enough to seem foolish at first glance. Instead of wrapping a soldier in one big zippered bag, the tube formed a tight cylinder that trapped heat far more efficiently. The soldier crawled inside with his coat still on. That coat formed the first wall of warmth. The wool interior of the tube formed the second, and the canvas exterior held everything in place, refusing to let the wind steal so much as a whisper of body heat. The magic was in the airflow. A sleeping bag loses warmth every time you move. A tube doesn't. Heat rises and stays inside. Cold struggles to sneak in. It's the same principle animals use in burrows and explorers use in Arctic bedrolls. Only here it was done with materials so basic that soldiers could repair them in the field with nothing more than a needle or a strip of cloth. If the shape was clever, the materials were brilliant. The tube's exterior was tightly woven canvas, treated with a wax oil mixture. Snow slid off. Wind smashed into it and had nowhere to go. When the fibres absorbed a little moisture, they swelled and became even more windproof. This wasn't accidental. Military engineers understood the canvas would behave like living armour in rough weather. The interior was wool, not cotton, not nylon. Wool, nature's undefeated champion in wet cold. Even soaked, wool keeps its warmth. It breathes, it regulates. When a soldier's breath condensed on the inner layer, the moisture moved outward instead of clinging to his clothes. That one detail saved countless nights of misery. Under the body, the real secret came alive. Soldiers lifted themselves off the frozen ground with whatever they had. branches, spruce boughs, straw, even empty ration sacks. A few inches of lift changed everything. It kept the insulation from flattening. Modern sleeping bags still struggle with this problem. Those World War II troops solved it using forest floor tools and hard-earned experience. In winter campaigns, troops got creative. They dug shallow trenches, laid down branches, slid into the tube, and braced their feet against their pack so the whole system wouldn't twist during the night. When temperatures plunged into the deadly negatives, soldiers stacked 2 tubes. The inner stayed warm. The outer blocked the wind. Today, mountaineers call that layering. Back then, it was pure battlefield instinct. When the ground turned to soak sludge, the poncho went under the tube, never over it. That was the trick. Keep ground moisture from creeping upward, and let the canvas handle what fell from the sky. The tube could shrug off sleet and blowing snow better than any tarp available at the time. Nothing about this setup was glamorous. It wasn't designed to look impressive. It was designed to keep a person alive long enough to keep fighting. What makes the World War II tube fascinating today is how surprisingly modern it feels. You don't need advanced fibres or high-tech coatings to recreate its power. The logic is timeless. Layer warmth, control airflow, lift yourself from the ground. Create a micro-environment where heat thrives and moisture retreats. Outdoor experts today talk about the importance of loft, vapour management and multi-layer insulation. Those soldiers were doing all of it with wool, canvas and ingenuity. And for all the high-tech sleeping bags we have today, many still fall short in cold rain or near-freezing drizzle. That's the world where the old tube shines. It stays consistent because it relies on structure rather than sensitive fabrics. History loves big machines and bigger battles, but every once in a while it hides a quiet idea that deserves its own spotlight. The World War II sleeping tube wasn't patented, promoted or praised. It never appeared in recruiting posters or war documentaries. Yet it helped thousands of exhausted, half-frozen soldiers get through the kind of nights that can break a person. No zippers, no straps, no fragile insulation, just smart shaping, natural fibres, and the understanding that warmth isn't about fighting cold. It's about working with heat. This little invention stands as proof that older technology often carried wisdom we still rely on today. The kind of wisdom built from hardship, observation and necessity. And the best part is that the method still works. It still has value. It still keeps people warm. If uncovering forgotten battlefield innovations like this sparks your curiosity, stick around. The Forgotten War Fronts is all about pulling these hidden gems out of the shadows and giving them the attention they earned. Share this story with someone who loves history, survival, or clever old-world engineering, and subscribe so you don't miss the next lost secret waiting to be rediscovered.